welcome to another edition of Leftovers.
Leftovers.
It's like the leftovers that you leave in your fridge and
after Christmas.
Yeah, and you forget about them, and then you come back to them and you're like, these are pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's what these episodes are like. You forget about them.
What's the worst leftover? What's like something that you just would not eat, or you'll eat it, you know what I'm saying, but you don't really like it leftover?
A McDonald's cheeseburger.
Golly, I don't even know if I want to eat that fresh.
I don't know. I don't know what the worst leftover is. Well, you got something?
No.
Yeah. I didn't think so.
Well, sometimes soggy lettuce. Have you never had soggy lettuce?
Lettuce is never leftover. It's something that you have in your fridge and you eat it as you want. That's like saying you opened a bag of peanuts and you only ate some of them and the rest are your leftovers.
That's not true.
It's not the same category as like a meal.
That's just not true. So if you have a salad, if you make a salad,
we got 15
and you
minutes,
put
by the
salad
way,
dressing,
and we're wasting
listen
it on
to me
this.
talk. If you sit there and put salad dressing on your salad, you make it and you eat a portion of it and put it in the fridge and eat it the next day.
Yeah, if you put dressing on it,
that's called a meal. People make. I'm sorry, I know you don't believe
it's not a meal.
Salads are not meals.
No,
okay.
they're not.
Okay. I agree with that, actually.
Panera, take note. They're not a meal. All right, that's not the topic of the episode. If you're new to Leftovers, we do this with no preparation and no notes, which should be obvious by now. That should be very plain to you at this moment. All right, so the title of this episode, you've probably already seen it, is going to be, Should I Tell My Kids About Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Santa Claus.
Ho.
But that's a starter to this whole conversation, is what we decided like 30 seconds ago. So don't get the impression that we prepared when we say that. But anyway, should I tell my kids about Santa Claus, Travis?
Well, yeah, the entire discussion.
Did you say, yes, I should tell them?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to really talk about all kinds of. It's more of holidays, right?
Okay.
It's more of the entire discussion is going to be centered on Halloween. Should we celebrate Halloween? Should we celebrate the Easter Bunny and go search for eggs and
the Tooth Fairy? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe the Tooth Fairy. There you go. And then Christmas and Santa Claus and all those various things. So once again, we have to be clear right up front. This is not a sin issue.
Yep.
This is a conscience conviction thing. It's just not a sin issue. So if wherever your conscience really lands on it, all we're encouraging you to do is to think it through.
Yep.
To pray about it, to come to one accord with your family.
Yep.
And to make that decision.
I would not. What I'm about to say today, I would not argue strongly with anyone who disagreed with me. Right. I would say, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I hold to a personal conviction and conscience,
yeah.
But that's fine. So
yep.
No. As for me and my household,
we will not serve Santa Claus.
We will not serve Santa.
We serve Jesus.
We serve Jesus in my house.
We like Santa. He's fine, but
yeah. So as for me personally, this is Travis. We don't do Santa Claus. We're not gonna celebrate Santa and do the whole spiel with that. Personally, we don't go trick or treating. We don't do Easter Bunny stuff. If we want to go eat eggs, I love eggs. And if you want to go look for eggs at a church parking lot, that's cool. I don't care about that. Why I stand where I stand on it is because I think it's really...
Because you don't like fun.
Because I hate fun. I think it's really fascinating. This has always been my point. I think it's really fascinating that three of the biggest holidays, like Easter, Halloween, and Christmas, I know that Thanksgiving would be in there, but I'm cool with that because that has nothing to do with the special day. It's just a massive food and being thankful. I'm cool with that. Easter is celebrated. Literally, it's been about Christ. It's been about Christ's life, death, and resurrection. The most important holiday that's ever been really would be Easter. And we make it about a bunny. That's a little odd to me. I think that Satan is extremely smart. He disguises himself as an angel of light, and everybody loves it. Completely distracts from what we're actually celebrating. Halloween, same thing. Halloween is on Reformation Day. That is absolutely insane to me. Martin Luther, the Lord using him to separate from the Catholic Church. By the way, if you want to know more about that, listen to our episode on Catholicism. And then Christmas, obviously, the birth of Christ. So I think it's crazy that these holidays have been just juiced, steroid full of just Americanized, and I mean, yeah, it's just absolutely distracted and pulled from the meaning of the holidays. So I think that it would be more helpful to celebrate in your household as a Christian family exclusively, hey, this is what this day is about, and we're called to be holy like the Lord, which means set apart and different. We're called to be different from the Lord. I don't want to look like the world in all these various aspects. And we're going to celebrate the true meaning of these days. So that's my personal conviction, but I agree with what you just said. If somebody says, yo, I want to go trick-or-treating, I'm like, cool, dog, go have fun,
So
just check your candy twice, because there's some freaks out there. That's legit.
There are freaks out there. We'll conclude there. I'm just kidding. So we're slightly different on this. I agree with almost everything that Travis has just said. We will participate as a family. We took Lily trick-or-treating last year. This is one of those places that Travis and I can disagree, and there's no animosity towards either of us.
There's animosity.
There's a little bit of animosity. Just kidding. I don't think there's none on my part. I mean, if he wants to be angry, and that's fine.
Save me some games.
So I agree with the fact that I think a lot of these have been hijacked, and so where we fall is, I believe personally that we can have honest conversations about that with our kids. Here's where I'm at with my toddler, and as they're younger, I don't talk about a lot of those things. So we've talked very, very little about Santa Claus, because I think at an early age it's easy for her to get Christmas too confused with that, and so we want to talk. And this is true always. We want to talk more and remind people what this holiday is about. And now, when you go into the stores, there's Santa Claus stuff and there's gifts and all that stuff. That's fun. All that's fun. But let's make sure your family is very clear on the fact that this is about Christ, that Easter is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Easter, we don't do as much. We'll have a small little basket of candies and stuff, but it's very, here's where I fall. I think a lot of families take this stuff overboard, where there's so much Santa Claus, there's so much gifts, there's so much traditions, and there's almost no Jesus, except that maybe you go to a Christmas Eve service at your church, right? Yep. And I think that's where the danger lies for sure, because I think that I think you can get too extreme on either side with this. And this is a lot of the stuff we talk about on Leftovers, right? Yeah. On Travis's opinion, I know people who will not go to a church because there are people in that church who are okay with celebrating Santa Claus.
That's nuts.
I don't agree with that.
No.
I think that is taking it too far, for sure. And so you can go too far with these extremes, but I think that we can, and this is my loose stance in this, I think we can say to our kids, these things happen in the culture and we can have fun with this. That's not the point of it. Now, Halloween, I approach a little bit differently than I do Easter and Christmas. While we still go trick-or-treating, I think that the way that our culture celebrates Halloween is problematic.
That's scary. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Literally scary.
We will not, this is my opinion, we're not going to be a part of all the haunted houses and all of the scary costumes and the freaky stuff that goes on. Again, not saying that's a sin issue particularly, but I do have a conscience thing. My wife has a conscience thing with this where we go, man, there's a big part of this that almost seems like it is celebrating evil and wickedness and darkness. And so we can remove ourselves from that as a family, walk in our little neighborhood where there's nothing but little kids, get some candy for my daughter, move on. We don't go to the festivals. We don't celebrate all this stuff. We don't hang all these decorations in our house, like that kind of stuff. And so there is a distinction that's made a little bit more with Halloween for us. And some people say, well, you're being soft, you're trying to compromise. That's your opinion. I don't think so. I don't think that my kids will ever grow up and think for a moment that we've confused Santa Claus and Jesus. But that's where we're at. So
yeah, I think that I think you're soft, but not for that reason. No, and I love this conversation because Kenny and I are literally agreeing with everything.
Right.
We land a little differently on different helicopter pads.
Yeah.
But it's okay because we're still in the same building.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that to clarify my stance, and I've heard this before, you're like, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Are you on these days? You're going to stand inside and just isolate your children?
Do you give out candy on Halloween?
No.
Or you don't give it out?
No, okay. I have no care for that. So, but here's the truth about it for me, and you know this about me. Other people obviously they don't know me. I love to celebrate. I love to have fun. I love to just go out and do lots of things. And if there is a cause and a legit reason to celebrate, there's going to be massive celebration in my household.
Right.
So on these days they're like, so you're celebrating, you're just not celebrating, you're not going to celebrate with the Easter bunny. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like in my household, Easter, Halloween, or Reformation Day, if you want to call it that, Christmas, Thanksgiving, there are going to be huge parties. There are going to be huge deals. My children are going to be stoked for these days because Daddy and Mommy are making huge deals about these days. Yep. There's going to be presents. There's going to be food. There's going to be celebration. There's going to be guests over, and the huge time to look forward to.
Yep.
And so my kids are going to have lots of fun, and they're going to love it. They're going to look forward to these days, but it's just not going to look like what the rest of the world does.
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yep.
So I'm not being a killjoy, being like, hey, because the world celebrates this, we're going to stand inside and pray all night.
Yep.
No, we're going to party.
Yep.
But it's going to be because of the real reasons.
Yeah, you're seeking to disciple your kids, which is what we both are trying to do in this.
Exactly.
We're taking slightly different approaches.
Yeah, there's different ways to shepherd.
And that's okay. I really, and some people disagree. Some people are really strong on either side of this. Some people would look at Travis and say, you're a nut job, you're a Jesus freak. Some people would look at me and say, you're soft, you don't love Jesus. And I'm like, in both of those cases, you're wrong.
Yeah, just chill out.
Yeah, and so this is not as hot of a topic that people like to make it. And if you think it's a hot topic, I'm not trying to like bash you. I'm just like, think about this for a minute. Is this really a sin issue? Oh. Now, can you make it a sin issue?
Good point.
Yes, you can make it a sin issue.
You can.
Okay? You can take Christmas so far that you've forgotten Christ entirely, and I believe that there is sin involved in that. You can do that with Easter, right? You can get so focused, and Jesus is just a part of it. Like Jesus gets sprinkled in. I do think that's problematic. But can you have some of the fun and the festivities, but not take it to the point of idol worship and not take it to the point of distracting from Christ? I believe you can. You're saying in your family that you've chosen not to go that route because you don't want to get in that place of distracting, because it can be a distraction.
It can be a distraction.
And that's okay. I agree it can be a distraction. Yep. And I agree that I'm taking on the risk in a sense of it being a distraction, but it's a risk that I'm okay taking.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're allowed to have that. I see the propensity to wander in my own heart.
Right.
As a grown man, father, husband, I've been saved for many years. I see a propensity to wander, to stray, to get distracted by shiny things.
Yep.
So will my children have propensity then to wander? That's something that I think about.
Right.
In a much larger degree, particularly because it's a different conversation. My children, little babies, they're not saved.
Right.
So will they be even more prone to run to shiny things and to get distracted and to be taken away from what I'm trying to shepherd them in? Yeah. So it's, at the end of the day, it's a conscience issue, it's a wisdom issue, and we're sitting here having discussion about it, and it's okay to differ on it.
Yep. So maybe to wrap it up, I would just simply say, whichever side you land on, what is important here is not whether or not you have presents at Christmas and go out trick-or-treating necessarily. What's important here is, are you discipling your family to know and love Christ in all things? Specifically when it comes to Christmas and Halloween, is it it's Christmas and Easter, I would say specifically. Halloween is a little bit separate in some ways from this, because Reformation Day, very important day, but it's not like the birth of Christ, the resurrection of Christ on that level, if you will.
Right.
Anyways, sorry, not to get on a rabbit trail, but are you discipling your family?
Right.
If you celebrate these things, do your kids know very clearly the distinction that's being made?
Right.
If you're choosing not to celebrate these things, do your kids know that you're not just trying to shut yourself out from the world and become this holy huddle of Christians that never get involved in anything that's ever fun, or because we're just so afraid that if we just step outside, then we're going to lose our faith in Christ? That can be an extreme as well.
Yeah, where are you on this spectrum? Evaluate.
Yeah. Are you discipling your kids to be hateful towards people who differ from you on this?
Word.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
So that's really the point of this. Not ultimately, where do you land, but how are you discipling your family? Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Are you looking down upon other people who celebrate it?
Yeah.
Shepherd your children in this, husbands, shepherd your wives through this.
Yep.
And land on one page with your husbands and wives. be of one accord. Make
Yep.
your decision after praying through it, and just roll with it.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we like these things. If you want us to discuss a topic on leftovers, let us know. Almost anything is up for grabs. Because sometimes Travis will say something, I'm like, no.
I know, right? Like, I think personally that more like controversial.
Yeah.
Like people want to know certain things. This
right.
is one of those topics.
So the next episode will be, should Christians involve themselves in controversies? Because I have a scripture reference about that.
Should Christians? You have to define controversy.
I'm joking, by the way. But there is a verse that says don't get involved in
Avoid
controversies.
controversial
Yeah.
myths.
Don't get involved in controversy.
Yeah.
That's how you cherry pick scripture.
That's literally
Yeah.
how you just strip it out of context.
That's how you just pull it away from what it's saying.
Way to
Yes.
sin.
Thank
All
you.
right, conclude
Thank
it.
you. All right, y'all. It's been another episode of Leftovers. Thanks for listening. We are trying to launch these in between season 2 and season 3. Season 3 is coming soon. We're recording episodes for it now, so be on the lookout for that.
So should we call these appetizers?
No, there are still leftovers from season 2.
But they're appetizers to season 3.
They are, because we talk about Santa in season 3.
Ah, we do.
Yeah, briefly.
That's where we got this whole
Yes.
leftover episode from, by the way.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. Signing off.
Appreciate
I'm Kenny.
you.
This is
Travis.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.